All right, so we have our triangle angle sum theorem, which says that the measure of angle 1, or the measure of angle A, plus the measure of angle B, plus the measure of angle C, has to add up to 180 degrees. And then we have our exterior angle theorem, where we have this angle that is outside the triangle, but forms a linear pair with one of the interior angles. This is adjacent, right? Adjacent supplementary. Okay, so this is the language you need to watch for right here. See this? The two non-adjacent interior angles. That would be the sum of angles 2 and 3. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to the sum, the measure of angle 2, plus the measure of angle 3. So these are the two theorems that we're going to put into play as we practice today. So like, for example, let's take this first one right here. Number 1, is that an example of the angle sum theorem, or is that an example of the exterior angle theorem?
Angle sum.
Okay, this is angle sum, right? Okay, so why don't you write down some work that you think would suffice for that, and then come up with the measure of angle 1. Go ahead. With 119 degrees for the measure of angle 1, right? And this is the work, I mean, this work is sufficient, right? This will work because it shows me you understand that you're subtracting the other two values from 180 degrees. All right, how about number 2? Is number 2 an example of the exterior angle theorem or the angle sum? Yeah, this is exterior, right? So we know that angle 1 here is going to be equal to the sum of the two non-adjacent interior angles. Go ahead and figure that one out. With 128 degrees, yeah?
Yes.
Good. Outstanding. I like it. All right, let's talk about number 3. Is number 3 triangle angle sum or exterior angle?
Angle sum. Because it's asking for an interior.
It is asking for an interior angle, but we would need to know 2 of the 3 interior angles. Now, could we use angle sum?
Yeah.
Sure, it's possible, right? Because we would just do the linear pair here and figure that out, and then we could do triangle angle sum. However, that's a 2-step process.
Oh, we want 1.
Well, if we could make it 1, why not, right? Like, we could say that whatever the measure of the exterior angle is, which is 104 degrees, it's equal to the sum of the 2 interior. So if we just said, like, the measure of angle 1 is going to be defined by x, we could go x plus 79 is the same thing as 104. See what I did there?
Yeah.
And then we're just going to take 79 off of that. We're going to get x is equal to what? 25. And so the measure of angle 1 is 25 degrees. All right, so I mean, you know, however you choose to do it, that's fine as long as your work justifies what you're doing. So those are 3 really basic examples of using these theorems. I'm going to leave the rest for you to do. And you're going to have to pick them out of some of these much more complicated looking problems. Feel free to use whatever information you have and things that you know in these. I am going to give you a couple of hints though, because there are a couple problems on the backside that you need a little extra information for that you don't have as of today. So let's go to number 8. However you want to notate this on your paper, I'm going to give you this hint for number 8.
Excuse me?
That's my hint for you for number 8. Okay. For number 9, I'm going to tell you that the measure of angle 1 is 73 degrees. That should help you out pretty significantly. Measure of angle 1 is 73 degrees. On number 10, I'm not going to give you any particular number hints, but what I'm going to tell you is don't assume anything is bisected unless you know for sure or are told things are bisected. So just because a line goes through an angle doesn't necessarily mean it's bisected. And in number 11, I'm going to tell you that the measure of angle 8 is 62 degrees. That'll help you out with that one.
You said 62 degrees?
62 degrees for the measure of angle 8. And then lastly, you can see that you've got 12, 13, 14, and 15 here using your 2 theorems. And then you would just set up some algebraic expressions to model these theorems, right? So like number 1, let's just talk about 12 for a second. Is 12 an example of angle sum theorem or exterior angle? What do you think?
Angle sum theorem.
Okay, so then the measures of the three interior angles of the triangle have to add up to what? Okay. You want to try that? You want to set that one up at least for starters? You got it? I'll tell you what, I'll put it up here in just a second. Why don't you try it just to make sure you got it? Why don't you set that problem up, because you got to end with an x equals, which means you have to start with a something equals something, right?
Wait,
So let's see if you can set that one up.
can I just put like all the X, like all of them?
Should look like that,
Yes.
right? So you can use that as a model to kind of do the rest of the problem. So your homework is to complete everything that we did not do on this paper. All right? There you go.
For our kids, you know,